Hey there, it's Simon Hurley from Inklipse, and welcome to another live stream. Hopefully you guys can see me right now. It's a little bit later than I usually go live, but I decided to go live tonight, see if you guys would come and join me, and then we can get crafting with the new Tonic Craft Kit. So this is Kit 14 for September, and I absolutely love this kit. It's got all these different animals in here. It's called the Pet Window Frame Kit. And it's so adorable. So you get this whole window to cut out, and then you got all these different animals and different things you can put inside here. Hey guys, thanks for joining. I'm so glad a couple of you guys are in here. So we're using this new Tonic Studios kit. I'm gonna really quickly go through what comes inside of it, and then we can get right into it. So inside of the kit, you have quite a bit. I've already pulled a little bit of it out, but inside of it, you have the dies, and I actually pulled all of the dies out because I've been die cutting a little bit, but you get these window portions, and you also get lots of different animals and stuff to create the scene. Those are all pretty little pieces, so I have them off to the side, but I'll share them in just a second. Hey everyone, thanks so much for joining me tonight. I know it's a little bit later, but I'm really excited about this. And then you have this really fun stamp set. It stamps these little bricks so you can create a background and also some fun sentiments and stamps to go along with the animals. And then there's also some Nuvo watercolor pencils in 3 different shades. I think these are new shades, which is awesome. Let me just press my camera there. And then you also have the calligraphy pen here in case if you want to write your own stuff. Some inks, embellishment mousse, embossing powder, crystal drops, and then the craft foam pads. And then you also have a couple of sheets of cardstock in here too, which we'll be using throughout the tutorial as well. Oh, awesome. I'm so glad you're crafting along with me tonight. So it's got this piece of acetate too, so you can create an actual window, and this is a really thick piece of acetate, so this will be nice to create my window with. And then you've got lots of different other sheets of cardstock to create and craft with. So I'm going to set this off to the side, then we can get right on into creating the actual card. So I'll move this off to the side, make sure that that's off to the side too. You might have received the kit from last month, and I think this month's kit is going to ship in just a little while too. So I think you got kit 13, Belinda. So I've already cut a bunch of these little animals off to the side, and they're so fun, and they all have a ton of little pieces to them. So I'm going to share quickly how to kind of color these in, and how I'm going to do it pretty quick. So there's a couple different options when you want to color these in. They actually come with these little boxes. So everything you need for each animal is on one of these, and then you have the larger animals itself. So I'm just going to go in here, and one of the ways you can color these in really easily is I'm going to take this apricot color, and you can just take your, these are Nuvo alcohol markers, and you can just take them and run them all along your image to get this nice and colored in. And this is just one of the ways, but I like to cut these out using white cardstock because you have that whole box, so you need to make them all different colors. So instead of going in with a bunch of different sheets of cardstock and doing that, I like going in with just white cardstock and being able to color these in. But I like how they've designed that, where you don't have a ton of tiny little dies, because those can get annoying and kind of lost throughout your craft space. And these have little embossing where the eyes are too. So instead of it coloring in there, it leaves little divots for the little eyes. So I'm going to continue coloring this in too. I'm going to bring in some other colors here. Now these aren't all from the same little grouping of color families. I kind of have mine all mixed together. And there's my dogs again. But I have mine all mixed together. So I just kind of grab what I think is going to go best with my projects. So here I'm adding a little bit of shading. It's not super dark. We can bring it in a little bit darker if we want to. Cutting in white is so great. Yeah, I agree. And then you use little pieces of tape to attach it to. That's awesome, because then it keeps those in place while you're working. So I'm going to grab some of this brown too. This is from the Cookies and Cream set. I'm just going to go in here and add those little stripes. And this is a way darker color. So it's gonna add those in pretty easily. I love little critters. If you guys have watched me for a little while, you know that I love using little critters on my cards. They're super fun. And this set is right up my alley with the little critters and then the peekaboo window too. So I was super excited when this one came, and I decided that I just had to use it today. So I'm gonna add little stripes on the side of its face too. And then I'll go back in and blend those out a little bit too. Just doing a little bit of coloring here. Actually, I'm going to go in with, I think that's actually pretty good. Maybe I'll leave my little cat like this. I kind of like that coloring. So I just colored it in pretty simply with a couple different stripes and things like that. If you want to, you can go in with a Nuvo blender marker, and this will just blend some of those colors together and make it a little bit more even. Now I find it also kind of lifts some of that color too if you have a fairly light color on there. So if you want kind of that fur texture and make it more blended, you can definitely do that too. Definitely blends it out a little bit more though too. Yes, it's a little striped tabby cat. I really love how that looks. And if you want, you could keep adding color, and I find that the alcohol markers you can keep going with and really create different color combinations with this. So you could really have fun playing around with different stripes and the ways you add your colors in. I'll show another way to add ink down that probably is a little bit quicker than doing it like this, but this you can add in all these little details. So if you want little stripes and stuff like that, you can add all that stuff in really pretty easily. Just gonna quickly bring back in one of these brown shades. So like you can see, I've added a little bit of that yellow in and then played with this brown. So these alcohol markers are super forgiving. You can keep layering colors on top of each other until you get the look that you really like. So here we go. Here's that fun little tabby cat. Yeah, they're pretty good compared to Copics. I did a video a while ago showing them and kind of used them alongside Copics, and they both blend together really nicely. So if you want to buy these, they come in packs of 3 and they're pretty inexpensive for alcohol markers, and you could, if you have Copics, use them together or start out with these before Copics. It's all up to you how you want to color. Yep, they come in packs of 3 that blend really nicely together. So look at that fun little cat. I love that. So next I'm going to go in and do this little bunny here. So I'm going to, actually I think I'm just going to stick with maybe the dog for today. And the nice part about this too is that front sheet that I showed you actually has some different things on the back. So it shows you exactly what you need to create the little critter that you want. So I'm going to take these different pieces that it calls for here, the little paws. What else does it need? A little nose, and then it needs an ear too. And I think I might need to cut out another ear, or maybe I'll stick its head onto the side so I don't need it. And then I'm going to grab its little collar too, and I think this is good. Yeah, it would definitely make an awesome gift. Yeah, they're pretty inexpensive for those packs of 3, and I think they're definitely a great point for coloring. So with this one, I'm going to do it with a sponge. So I'm going to grab so I've just grabbed a couple different inks that I want to use for this. I'm going to start off with frayed burlap, and I'm going to bring this right onto my surface. And I'll just, I'm going to grab a sheet of paper in here so that I don't get it all over my desk. But I'm just going to come in here and blend this right onto the surface. And you can get maybe some harsh marks in there, but if you tap off your sponge, and usually that doesn't happen too often, it's just because my sponge isn't really well saturated with inks yet. But I'm going to blend in that color. Really tap off some of the excess of that color and then bring it in onto the surface. So you can see that that's definitely another fun way to add the color in. I'm using the Distress Oxides to add the color in, but you could really throw in whatever ink you want. And if you want to make it a less dark, you can always tap off your sponge, or if you want to add a darker effect, you can bring in more color. So it's kind of a fun controlled effect. This will be a little brown puppy here. So we've got that done, and then I'll do the face here too. So I'll bring that in with this frayed burlap as well. I hadn't used this color yet, so the sponge wasn't completely saturated, but I think it's working great now, and there's not too many harsh marks. If you want to, you can start right off the image and bring it on, and then you don't get any marks on your image. And with this as well, with these kind of images, since you're using the Distress Oxides, they have that pigment quality, and they work really nicely with using those pigments, and they blend super nice too. So I'm going to grab this little ear now too, and I'm actually going to go in with some Hickory Smoke. This is another new color. I'm just going to throw it on the same sponge here. So I'm going to go in and bring those ears in. You can tap to get that color on, or you could bring it in with that sponge and blend it again. But since it's pretty tiny, I'm going to go in and just tap the color on. Belinda, that one with the blue colors and stuff, that was the kit for last month. Okay, so now for the little paws. I'm going to quickly throw on this frayed burlap again. I'm going to bring this color back in, and I'm going to grab it and ink this up with some frayed burlap for its little paw there. So it's really easy to get this color on, as you can tell. I'm just going in pretty quickly with these colors to do this. It doesn't take too much time to throw down this color. And then I'll once again bring back in this Hickory Smoke. I keep forgetting about these little pieces. But obviously, if you're not trying to do this quick, or you're not in a super big rush, I'm trying to get this done as quick as possible. But if you would cut these all out at once, you would know exactly what goes with what. So I'm going to adhere this down using some liquid adhesive. So I'll grab some Collage Medium Matte. And I'm going to throw down its little face here. So I think this goes together right here. I'm going to put it on. And what's nice is that they give you this sheet, so it's really kind of makes it a lot easier to look and see exactly where everything's going to line up and go on your card. Okay, so then I'm going to bring in the nose too. I'm just going to add a little bit of adhesive there. Set the nose right onto the piece. And then I'm going to put down an ear as well. So I only had cut out one of the ears because you have to cut it out twice if you want 2 ears. But I think I'm just going to have this little guy kind of poking through the window, poking his head through. So I don't think I'm going to need both of them. So I'll throw some adhesive down and adhere this together, and he's looking really awesome. I love how this little puppy turns out with that fun coloring and that die cut that we created. So you can see that it looks a little weird right now, but later when I adhere it down to the card, I think it'll look a little bit better with its little head peeking out there. So after I had done that, I'm going to quickly color this bow. I think I want to put the bow on the little cat here. or actually I'm going to start off on the background first so we can kind of see how the card is gonna turn out. So I'm going to quickly fold this down. We're gonna create the little window for this card. Yeah, it is. There's lots of details in these little tiny die cuts. They got different embossing and things like that, which makes them really nice. So I'm going to go in here with this window die and die cut the window. So I'll start off by cutting this little opening here. I'm going to stick my card right in here and add a little bit of purple tape onto it. So I've added down some of that purple tape to make sure that it's held nicely in place. And then I'll grab this and my card here, and I'll put this all into my sandwich right here. And then I'll bring my die cutting machine in, and I'm going to die cut this right through my Gemini Junior. Okay. So here we go, I'll pull this out now. And we've got this all die cut out. Now there was some stuff on my die cutting plates there, some little watercolor I think from the class I taught this weekend. So I'll have to clean that off. So I'll peel this off here. And remove it, and it cuts out that nice little window opening. So that creates the little window that we can make our little animals peek out of. So after I have cut that out, I'm going to bring this in, and I think that this needs to be cut out as well. Not exactly sure how this is going to go. So we'll see in just a second, but I want to create some ink blending on the inside of this card. And a little bit of adhesive got left on from that tape that we added. So I'll just erase that right off the surface here. Instead of flowers, he buys you stuff for the craft nook. That's awesome. So you get some new crafty supplies to play with. So I'm going to take this piece then, and I'll add some little markings to the inside of my card. So I'll just throw down some different marks here. And this just shows me exactly where I need to create the coloring. So it might be kind of hard to see on camera, but there's different coloring in here. And what we're going to do is create an ink blended background. So I'm starting off with Ripe Persimmon. This is another color I haven't quite gotten to use yet, so I'm excited to use it in today's video. Okay, so I'll start at the bottom here, and I'm just going to go in and blend this out a little bit. There's not, like I said, there's not a ton of ink on my sponge right now, so it's a little bit difficult to get a really solid color. Because these, I think, these are the newer colors. So I haven't been able to pull them out yet, but I'm excited to use them right now. So I'm creating this bottom piece here with this blending. Just want to make sure it's nice and blended because you're going to see lots of this on the card. And then I'm going to bring in, yeah, sure, I'll spritz the scrap paper at the end to see what it would look like for sure. Yeah, I love that bright persimmon color. I thought it would be great for this kind of portion behind the window here. So I'll just take this, and I just imagined it with bright colors behind the window, kind of like a wall color or like a wallpaper. So I thought it would be really cool to add that in here. So after I've added those two colors, I'm gonna finish it off with some tumbled glass. So this is just gonna be a little blue color at the top. And thank you all for joining me in this live stream tonight. I know it's a little bit later than I usually go on, but I thought it would be fun to create with this kit here. That would be super fun. So I just thought I would hop on and hopefully get this done pretty quickly. So let me know how your Mondays have been. I know it's the start of the week. Sometimes it can be a little bit rough coming from the weekend. And then I'm going to go back in with that tattered rose and blend that out. And then I'll put down my piece here and you can see that fun background. Now I'll go back in with a little bit of more ripe persimmon here at the bottom, just to kind of even it out since you're gonna see this when you open the card. So I just want to even out some of the color there. You made 3 cards yourself today. That's awesome. Where do you get the thing you are using to put the ink on the card? It's a Ranger ink blending tool with Tim Holtz. So Tim Holtz and Ranger makes it. Yes, being back in school has definitely cut into my crafting for sure. I haven't been able to upload as many videos, but I'm working on one right now and hopefully I can get that finished for you guys pretty soon. Okay, so I've just spritzed the top here a little bit. I want to lift off some of this color. And I don't have a rag here today, but I'm gonna grab a little bit of paper towel and I'll just pick that up with the paper towel to lift off some of that color. You can see it's lightly lifting off that color there. It kind of gives that bleached effect with that Distress Oxide. So I'm gonna go in and heat this up now. Okay. So once I've created that, that creates a fun little opening for your window. I think it's really nice and colorful. I don't know if it's super realistic, but I think it's really a colorful background for these animals. So I'm going to just, this is a mono sand eraser. Just have a little bit of ink on the outside from when I die cut that on my die cutting plates. And it easily just comes off right with that mono eraser. So look at that fun window. I really love that. Now once I've done that, I'm going to grab this acetate piece. I'm gonna cut just enough for it to go on the card here. So they've included this in the kit. I'm just gonna cut it down here. And stuff is falling down left and right. But I'm going to place this at the top here, and I'm going to add some adhesive right along the outside of it. Just some adhesive right along the window. And then I can put down my piece of acetate that came along with the kit. And easily adds that on to make that window card, which I really love. So once I have added that little piece of acetate there, we've created our window, and now I need to cut out the fun accessories for the window. Yeah, when you misplace glue or ink, that sand eraser is awesome. So I'm going to take this piece and cut it out now. And also I'll cut out one of the shutters as well. I want to add little shutters onto the card for some fun effects. So I'll bring this into the card as well. I'm going to grab another piece of cardstock here. I'll just rip it down. So this I'm going to use to die cut both of these pieces here. I hope you guys are enjoying this live stream. Sometimes these can be a little bit longer, but I really do enjoy just kind of sitting and chatting with you guys too while we create. So hopefully you don't mind it. And if you're interested in getting this kit too, I would love it if you guys use the links down below. I have linked to the kit, and it helps me out a little bit and supports this channel if you want to purchase using those links. So I get a little bit of commission with no extra cost to you, which is really nice. So then I'm going to grab some more purple tape here. Oh my, okay. I accidentally clicked something and it like went to my outro already. So I think we're back now. Yeah, wow. Okay, so I'm going to grab my cutting plates. Oh, thanks so much, Linda. That's awesome. Yeah, we accidentally just went to my outro, so. My bottom plate has cracked on this, so I put it through a lot of work. Since I first got it, there's so many cuts in it. But thankfully you can replace those little things, so that's awesome. Yes, I do believe the kit is available outside of the US for sure. Okay. Oh, awesome. Thanks, Kijo. So I'm going to take out this window piece, and we'll have to run it through and cut one more. So they make it so you just have to run it through twice to get both shutters, which is nice. So I'm going to grab another piece then. Yeah, I still love my Gemini, but it cracked right here. I put this thing through a lot though, so I expected it. I was like die cutting all the class samples and things like that, so. And this machine's one of my favorites. It goes through automatically. It's super nice. I have a link down below in the description box. And if you want to use that link, it'll help me out too. But I love this machine. So you can look at the junior or the larger machine too. What did I teach a class? So I taught a class nearby in Wisconsin. It's in Neenah, Wisconsin at Valley Stamp and Scrap. So I did it this weekend. It was so much fun to be able to teach everybody, and it was really just a fun class to have and a great group of people too. So I just realized I need this die. This is what this is for, to cut the inside piece of this. I'm struggling to figure this all out, but I think I've got it now. Okay, so I'm going to grab this and put this right at the top here. You like cranking things through your machine? I've had a hard time with that in the past, of like running it through the machine. So I really do love the electric machines. I believe it's all personal preference for sure. So, oh, thanks for joining us, Kelly. Have fun and stay safe for sure. So I'm going to put this right back to the machine again one more time. I think this should be the last time that we're running it through. And I'm just going to line this all up. Okay, So once I've got that cut out, I think this should do it now. I think we've got all our pieces out. I know Tonic has, I think they have a great video, if they've done it yet, sharing exactly how to put this together like a pro. So I'm just kind of going by the seat of my pants here. So hopefully you guys don't mind too much of me kind of just experimenting and crafting with you live on here. I think that's what these are really for. They're not like a regular tutorial. It's more like just kind of crafting and having fun with all of you. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to just use a little bit of that gray color on this. So I'll throw some, actually, I'll throw some tattered rose onto here. I think that'll be a nice color for this. A nice soft color. Just something soft for this outside piece. And I'm just doing this right on my desk, but I can clean it up after. It's just a laminate surface, so it'll clean up really nicely after. Okay, so I didn't fully ink this up. I left some white space on purpose to kind of add a little bit of variety to it. And then I'm going to just adhere this down to the bottom piece. I agree, definitely. Experimenting is the fun part of crafting. You have to really experiment and kind of play around with it to get a card you really like. So I think this one, I think I'm going to really enjoy this card after I'm done with it. So then next I'm going to take my frayed burlap again. I want a brown shutter here. You could do like a light blue. I love the shutters that they did here, but I'm just going to do kind of like a wood grain look. So I'm just not really taking my time to do too much blending here. I'm just kind of throwing on some color. And I'll add a darker color around the edges too. So I'll do the same thing to this one. Just throwing down a little bit of color. And then a little bit of darker color around the edge. So that really creates an awesome look to the end result. I'm going to just spray the surface here quick, and then I can wipe this up really pretty easily here. So I just wipe up my surface. And then to add this to my card, I think I'm going to pop these up on the card. And I'm just going to use some foam tape here. There did come some pop dots in the kit, but I don't want to open those right now. I want to save a little bit of time and use just some of my foam tape here. So I'll flip this over and add a piece of foam tape onto the back. And then I'll add this down onto my card. And I'll do the same thing to this side too. So I'll take a piece and I'll add that right onto the card. So look, that's actually super fun. I love that window and how it looks like that. You can add more stuff to it, but I think I'm going to leave the window like this. I kind of like how that looks with the shutters and the outside piece. There's a lot more you can add here, like a little ledge and stuff like that, but I think I'm just going to leave it with how it is. Now, if I want to, I could create, I don't really want to die cut anymore, but I can create my own little window ledge, I think, by just cutting out another piece. Oh, I totally forgot. This window piece needs to stick inside here. So I'll take this piece and I'll add a little bit of, I think, hickory smoke I'll throw onto there. Or actually, I'll do tumbled glass here. We'll kind of bring back in those other colors that we used. I want to know in the comments, what's your guys' favorite color of the oxides? I love and use these so often for quickly coloring my things. Now again, I left a lot of white space in there. I kind of like how that looks, the varied effect. I knew I was missing something, so missing that little window there. I would say my favorite distress oxide is probably abandoned coral. I use it probably a little too often, but I think it's like a perfect red kind of peach tone. So I'll add some adhesive onto here. Cracked pistachio, that is awesome. That's an awesome color. I love the bright vibrancy of cracked pistachio too. It's so bright, but it's got that really great color to it. So I'll go in here and I'll lift off a little bit of glue. So we don't want to get that glue really onto the acetate. Okay, so once I've done that, I've added the glue to my surface, and I think that looks pretty awesome. Now let's take our little pieces and add them to the card here. I want to add the little puppy and the little cat. So where do you guys think the cat should? I think the cat should maybe be peeking his head in. Maybe he should be peeking his head in from the middle of the window. I kind of like him. I think I want him showing a little bit more. So maybe I should have him sitting out on a ledge here. So maybe we should create a little bit of a ledge. What do you guys think? I think maybe we should add this little guy up on some foam tape. I'll kind of create a little bit of kind of a weird scene here. It's not, if I spent all day creating this, I could create something a little bit more fun, but I don't want to keep wasting your guys' time and running it through my machine. I'm just going to throw some foam tape onto this cat here. And then I'll just add this right onto my card there. Now I think I like that positioning right there with that little cat kind of walking right through the window, or like right on the ledge of the window there. Now I think there was some other things I could have put on my cat too, but I think I'm just gonna leave him like this. Now I'm gonna take my little pen and I'll go in and create some little black eyes. The die cut leaves those little indents for you so you can create those really quite easily. Then I think we're missing like a nose too, for sure. And we're missing the little like snout. I know I cut it out here though. I think it's this little guy. So all I need to do then is just take this. I can add some of that tattered rose to it. Thanks so much, Mrs. Whitlock. I really appreciate hearing that for sure. So I'm going to add a little bit of glue to this. So it goes like right between his eyes. Kind of up a little higher there. So it looks a little weird right now. But I'm going to add on its little nose too. Where is the cat's nose? I mixed these all together. I probably should have kept them a little bit separate. Maybe we just need to maybe we just need to draw on a little nose here, because there definitely is one. I just don't know exactly where it is. Maybe we'll add a little bit. Okay, I think we should just draw on a nose for sure. I can't find one right now. So I'm going to grab a natural brown color, and I'm just going to draw right in a nose there. So just a quick little nose to kind of finish off that fun little cat. He's outside on the little windowsill. I think that's really fun. And then I'm going to add some other little things here. So we can easily take this piece here and some greens, and I'll throw this down here. Just color it in pretty quickly with those alcohol markers. These aren't from the same kit, so if they don't blend perfectly, that's why. They're not from the same set. Yep, Belinda, I definitely do. And I'll throw down a little bit of those greens, like a little plant there sitting inside the window. And I think this is kind of coming to a fun spot. I really love how this looks. If you want to, you could even throw in a little bit bird. I'll take a little bird and some of my yellow. Just color that in. So you could really kind of play around with this set. There's so many fun things you could do with it. And I'm just like hitting the surface here with just a few ideas. And you guys can really take this to a whole nother level with adding colors and different pieces to your scene for sure. Gonna add a little dot for the eye again here. And then I can add that just sitting right above that window there. It's so much fun creating a little scene like this. I think it's a really creative idea for them to have all these fun little die cuts that you can create with. So here's my window card. I think I need a sentiment on it, and then that'll finish it off, and I'll end there for the night. So I'm gonna grab this sentiment set. And there's I think some puns. You're perfect. Sorry to hear you're feeling rough. You had me at woof and forever friends. I think I'm gonna say you're perfect. I think that's a great sentiment for sure. So I'll take a little piece of cardstock here. A little strip of cardstock. And I'm going to grab a stamping block. Thanks everyone, I'm so glad you like this card. It took a little bit longer than I expected it to, but I think it turned out really cool. So I'll stamp down that you're perfect. I really like that sentiment. And I'm going to I'll cut it out there. And then I'll cut the edges off. So then I can add this right to my card and finish it off like this. I think I'll add it below that little cat. So this can kind of act as the little ledge there. So it all comes full circle. So I didn't end up using the dog today. I thought I definitely would use the dog. I think this cat is so adorable. So you can make them peeking their little heads through the window too and things like that. I just finished it off with this little cat today. But you could do a ton with all the different animals. There's a bunny, 2 different poses for the dogs. So there's lots of different things you could do with this. So look at that, that's so much fun, and you could either write your sentiment on the back of the card or write it right here and have it kind of peek through. It kind of depends on what you want, or you could add another little folding flap on the inside here, have this colored portion on the outside, and when you lift it, you can put a sentiment on the inside there. But I really like this fun little card. It took a little bit longer than I hoped, but again, it takes a little bit of experimenting for this. It wasn't quite a tutorial, but maybe a little bit of inspiration for you all, and I love chatting with you guys. Oh, don't forget to spritz the scrap paper. So this is just lots of brown. Tim would be proud of this brown here, with a little bit of color. And so it oxidizes that color there, so you get a cool look with that for sure. This could be cool as like die cutting out and things like that to create another fun piece. And look, it oxidizes really well, so you get that fun oxidized look too. Well, awesome. Thanks guys for joining. I love how this card turned out. That fun, colorful background on the inside and that little cat. If you enjoyed it, please be sure to give it a big thumbs up. I'm so glad you guys enjoyed watching me create this card. I'll see you guys very soon. I need to go to bed and get to school tomorrow. But give it a big thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Click that subscribe button down below if you want to see more like this or tutorials from me, kind of more fast-paced tutorials I give as well. So I'll see you guys very soon in another card making and crafting video. Bye guys, have a great night.